Mitch Moss on VSiN follows this kind of stuff along with his co-host Paulie Howard on Follow the Money, friends of the network, friends of the program. Mitch, bullpen usage is so important when you're tracking things like this. I don't think the Brewers are in terrific shape today. Would this be a day that you might want to jump on the Chicago Cubs on the road?
Yeah, it's such a big part of the overall handicap, right? On a day-to-day basis, tracking how often the bullpen has been used in recent days. And I mean, look at the season that Devin Williams was having up until yesterday, and what he has basically 2 bad appearances the entire year. So how much would that overall fatigue or late usage here before the All-Star break actually have an impact on a guy like that? I can't imagine a scenario. And oh, by the way, I know the Cubs, they're still a threat potentially, Matt, in this division, but you have 6 games coming up, 3 before the break with the Reds, 3 after the break, and then 3 more with Cincinnati later on this month. So that's 9 total in July. The team that now has a 2-game lead in that division, I would be more worried about those games, the next 9 against the Reds, than I would be in a game like today.
Really good point. I love how the schedule lays out, too, because we talked about that, the pre-All-Star slice of schedule, so important for a handful of teams like the Brewers and Reds head-to-head, like the Phillies and Marlins head-to-head, 2 teams trying to catch the world-beating Atlanta Braves. I want to hit you on the Marlins, specifically on their lineup. Since June 2nd, only the Braves and Phillies have a better record than the Marlins. They've won 3 in a row. I think their lineup is underrated. NTT Ballpark Cam showing us some images of Lone Depot Park in advance of the Cardinals and Marlins. Give me what you got on the Marlins and how you might approach them from a betting standpoint.
Well, I do have Soler to win the home run derby from much earlier in the year, just because I'm kind of a Soler homer. I have him at a big number. I hope he starts to pick it up a little bit from going yard. You can take a chance with a rise on a daily basis by betting his hit prop over 1.5. You're going to get plus money on that almost every single day. As for the game that we have today, I mean, the Cardinals, Matt, as you know, as all the viewers here know, it's a very proud organization. This is uncanny to watch this team kind of tailspin here before the All-Star break. To lose a game like they did yesterday, that doesn't happen to a team like St. Louis over the years. That's like high school, shenanigans that happened at the end of that game yesterday. So now Flaherty has to go out there and try to pick up the pieces and to salvage a game here against Miami. Well, when you look at his overall numbers on the season, it's the most innings that he has pitched so far in a year since 2019, second highest ERA of his career, pretty much the lowest Ks per 9 throughout his entire career, also second highest walk rate. The one saving grace is that he's not allowing a lot of home runs, only 0.63 home runs per 9. That's the best rate in his career. And then when you flip it and you look at who the Marlins are throwing today, Perez is going. Now, he's only 20 years old, so he's not going to be, Mr. Cy Young out there every single time that he takes the hill. And I will give him a break for what happened. I mean, the Braves are lighting every pitcher up now. So in his last start, he only got the 1 out, allowed 2 home runs, 6 earned and 7 hits, and he obviously got the early hook. But before that, again, keep in mind, he's 20 years old. In the 6 starts leading up to the last one before the Braves, he was personally 4-0, 33 innings, higher than 10 Ks per 9, and the ERA, Matt, was 0.27 in those 6 starts. That's the same number for home runs per 9. The whip was sub 0.9. Now, some of the numbers might be a little misleading. For example, he stranded everybody. Like literally, it was 100% left on base rate. That's unsustainable. But overall, that'll tell you that this kid has awesome stuff. I think they're a short number overall for the game today. So I like the Marlins to keep their winning ways going.
Laying out some pretty compelling reasons why. I know there's a player-pitcher prop that you've kind of circled to on the later schedule tonight out in Los Angeles. Pirates and Dodgers with Johan Oviedo on the mound. He's got a strikeout prop of 4.5. There's some compelling reasons as to why the under would be in play here, including this one, Mitch. Johan Oviedo has one of the lowest strikeout rates against right-handed hitters this year, and it's a reverse split kind of weird one, but he's punched out only 17% of right-handed batters. League average is closer to 25%. The number's 4.5. Could you be talked into the under on that?
Yeah, and this is not chasing recent performances from Oviedo either, Matt, because his props his prop number over the last 3 games, it was exactly 5.5. And I'll take you back. He only had 1 strikeout against Milwaukee. Well, Milwaukee, they have one of the highest strikeout rates in the entire big leagues. It was 5.5 against Miami. He had 5. And then it was 5.5 against Chicago, where he had 3. It's 4.5 today. So they've adjusted that number based on recent performance. But I still think that you can get one more under out of it here with Oviedo taking the mound tonight. And also keep in mind, not only that great number that you threw out there with the Dodgers against righties, but overall on the season, I mean, because they can mash the ball as well as anybody for the most part, as you know, 5th overall in the league in on base, 5th in slugging, 6th in OPS. So not only does Oviedo have to get to 5 strikeouts, he has to last long enough to have the potential to get 5 strikeouts. And there's a chance where the Dodgers could actually run him earlier than anticipated in this game.
Yeah, that's good stuff. You do such a good job, you and Paulie both, rather, on Follow the Money on VSiN every morning on baseball. And it's a hard sport to handicap because of the frequency of games, because of things like bullpen usage, roster turnover. It's not the low-hanging fruit that it is to talk football or even the NBA, and you guys do such a good job with our sport. You personally are also very good with your futures plays. So, the exercise of playing NL MVP, AL MVP, not so fun because of the chalky nature of Acuna and Ohtani. Cy Young's a different animal, though. In which league, AL versus NL, do you find the most compelling or maybe the best shot to take as a bettor?
Well, I think both of them you can make cases for several guys just because nobody is really running away with either award. But I want to ask you this question as well. Do you think a reliever can win the award in 2023? We have not had a closer or a reliever win an award, win the Cy Young since 2003. That was Eric Gagne's special season with the Dodgers where he was lights out, never blew a save. Do you think voters would be accepting of a closer or reliever winning the award? Because the numbers, Matt, this year for Felix Bautista and the Orioles, they don't lie. They are historically good. In fact, he was just named the AL reliever of the month. He was great in June. He had 7 saves with a .84 ERA. But when you look at his overall strikeout numbers on the season now, he's still above 50% for a K rate. That leads baseball by 7.5%. Since 2000, only 4 qualified relievers have finished the season with a K percentage over 50%. That's it. And he might beat the all-time record. He might save 40-plus games. He might strike out 160 guys as a closer. And if they make the playoffs with, McClanahan unable to run away with it this year because of the injuries, Cole has been a little hit and miss here lately. I know Valdez is having a great year. I could rattle off a bunch of guys, but nobody has been like that runaway freight train this year in the American League. Because Bautista is between 150 and 200 to 1. Do you think it's worth maybe a little bit of money if he keeps this up, breaks that all-time record for K rate, where he could be in the mix at the end of the year? I
mean, the K rate record is probably the most compelling thing there, in addition to the number, like the payout. I just can't see his save total or any of his other peripherals getting to a place where Cole or those guys get passed by a reliever. It's going to be fun to watch, though. Mitch Moss, Follow the Money on VSiN. We appreciate it, Mitch. You cover our sport well, and your insights are much appreciated here. Thanks for the visit, man.